The Board of Education special meeting. This is our fourth informal budget workshop this Thursday, April 4th at 7 p.m. I'd like to call everyone to please rise for the pledge. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a reminder to everyone at home, the chat room is open for questions, suggestions, comments. Okay, I'm going to scratch that. Okay. Be it resolved that the following items be approved, B2B through B2D. I need a motion. Motion by Eileen Harmon. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Cindy Seferi. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. D1A, Last Chance Agreement. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves a last chance agreement dated April 4th, 2024, between a certain staff member, Local 237, City Employees Union International, Brotherhood of Teamsters, and the Board of Education, and the Brentwood Union Free School District, and that the President of the Board of Education is authorized to execute the last chance agreement on behalf of the district. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Brandon Garcia. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Cindy Seferi. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Noes? Abstentions? So moved. D1B, Rejection of Petitions. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby rejects petitions submitted to the Office of the District Clerk on or about March 7th, 2024, to place propositions on the ballot, since petitions for such propositions are not in compliance with the applicable provisions of New York State education law and/or board policy, including but not limited to Section 2035 and Section 1703 of New York State education law and board policy 1050. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Eileen Harmon. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Brandon Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Noes? Abstentions? So moved. D1C, seeking voter approval for the purchase of the real property located at 1734 Brentwood Road, New York. Resolution of the Board of Education of the Brentwood Union Free School District, seeking voter approval for the purchase of the real property located at 1734 Brentwood Road, Brentwood, New York. Whereas the Board of Education of the Brentwood Union Free School District, the board, is considering seeking voter approval to purchase certain real property in the town of Islip, County of Suffolk, identified as tax map parcel number 160-271, and more commonly known as 1734 Brentwood Road, the property, from W.T. Kojic, Inc., seller, for the future use for district purposes, collectively referred to hereinafter as the project. And whereas by resolution dated March 6, 2024, the board determined that the project constitutes as an unlisted action and issued a negative declaration under the State Environmental Quality Review Act and the regulations of the Department of Environmental Conservation of the State of New York, DEC, promulgated thereunder, collectively SECRA, and whereas the board has reviewed the anticipated components, phases, and aspects of the project, and whereas the board has reviewed and approved a contract of sale between W.T. Kojic, Inc. and the board for the property, the contract. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education calls a special district meeting of the qualified voters in and for the Brentwood Union Free School District, Suffolk County, New York, on May 21st, 2024, at the Hemlock Park Elementary School, Lowell Park Elementary School, Loretta Park Elementary School, North Elementary School, Gail Elaine Kirkham Northeast Elementary School, Oak Park Elementary School, Pine Park Elementary School, Frank J. Cannon Southeast Elementary School, and Southwest Elementary School, Brentwood, New York, between the hours of 7 a.m. EDST and 9 p.m. EDST for voting on said date, and that as part of the special district meeting, the qualified voters of the school district will be asked to vote on the proposition described below. Shall the following resolution be adopted? Proposition that the Board of Education of the Brentwood Union Free School District is hereby authorized to expand an amount not to exceed $1,400,000 from existing undesignated fund balance to purchase the property located at 1734 Brentwood Road, Brentwood, New York, which is identified as SBL number 16-2-71 on the tax map of the town of Islip. Okay, my apologies, the time is wrong on the resolution. It should read between the hours of 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Thank you, Wanda.
Do we need a motion to amend that?
I'm sorry?
Do we need a motion to
No,
amend?
there's, no one's approved anything yet.
Okay.
And then it'll say yes or no. And that voting shall be by ballot on electronic voting machines, and that the district clerk is hereby authorized and directed to include the foresaid proposition in a legal notice for the special district meeting, a copy of which is attached hereto, and to publish, sorry, because there's been amendments on everything. And a legal notice for the special district meeting, a copy of which is attached hereto, and to publish such notice immediately in Long Island Business News and Noticia, official newspapers of such district. The first publication to be made at least 45 days prior to said special district meeting.
And we're taking that out, that's what we're taking out.
That's what we're taking out?
Yes.
The first district.
Okay. The first publication.
You better find that, up to that.
Yeah, all right. The district clerk is hereby authorized to amend the notice of said special district meeting from time to time as in her discretion. Such amendment may be required or desirable, and to the extent required by law, the Board of Education shall appoint election personnel to conduct said special district meeting pursuant to a separate resolution of this Board of Education, and that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Secret status of project, the school district acting as lead agency to the extent necessary for this purpose under SECRA has completed its environmental review and has duly determined and found the project to be an unlisted action for which it is used a negative declaration. It is issued a negative declaration, sorry. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Julia Burgos. I need a second. Second by Eileen Harmon. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Noes? Abstentions? So moved. D1D, Interim School Lunch Manager. Be it resolved that the Board President is authorized to execute an employment agreement with Nancy Padron as Interim School Lunch Manager, which agreement has been reviewed by the Board of Education. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Maria Malave. I need a second. Second by Cindy Seferi. All in favor?
Aye.
Noes? Abstentions? So moved. Okay. Any questions from the audience?
Good evening. My name is William Moss. I'm a resident of the Brentwood Union Free School District. I'm also a parent of students in the Brentwood School District. I am one of several people who signed the petitions that you guys just denied this evening. I certainly can understand the technicality behind one, the expansion vote to go from 7 to 9 members because an amount wasn't there. So my question is, what was the amount that was missing from the petition that you guys determined needed to be there?
Yeah, we don't have the numbers with us right now. Yeah.
But you do have the numbers?
Yes.
The number that was missing from the petition?
Yes,
Okay, how can I get that number?
the district clerk.
Okay, and when should I be able to receive that by?
You can reach out to her tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. The second one, I respectfully disagree with your attorney's assessment. Your attorney assessed the situation as that this is a Board of Education privilege, the hiring of minority teachers, employment, and I understand where the attorney's coming from, but that decision is completely misplaced. The petition, I'm sure when you read it or read it, you can see the petition is specifically asking for a plan to increase the number of minority teachers in the district. It's not asking to hire anyone, employ anyone, or appoint anyone, as your attorney sent to me. So I think that decision is very misplaced. I understand that the attorney may be coming from a place of the several hiring lawsuits and administrative cases that I have filed against the district to get the district to, hire in a way that I feel is fair and equitable. I get that that might be the environment with which the attorney is making that decision. However, this is a school. This is a school environment. And so when the community asks you as a Board of Education to let us vote on whether or not you all need to set forth a plan to increase the number of minority teachers that is within New York State human rights law, that's pursuant to law. There are several different ways that a school district can plan to increase minority teachers. Some of them cost money, some of them don't cost money. Let me give you an example. You can currently ask the minority teachers who are in their later years on the force to, if they may think that they're going to retire for whatever the reason may be, you can ask them to stay on longer. That's just one example of how you can plan to increase the number of minority teachers. That has nothing to do with appointments. And so I find that the attorney's assessment is 100% misguided in terms of throwing out that petition, which was signed by eligible voters of this community, based on something that's simply not factual. Yes, you have the power as a board to appoint, but our petition was not about your power to appoint. Our petition was about forcing you to set a plan, to make a plan to increase the number of minority teachers, not to hire any single individual. And I will say this, every Board of Education has an opportunity to rescind what it has voted. And I hope that you have heard what I've said this evening, that lawyers will do what lawyers will do, but at the end of the day, you're getting legal advice, not legal dictation. So you as the board can do what you want to do with respect to the people of this community and what we are asking to have the right to vote on in May. And I hope that you take what I'm saying into consideration because we will set forth to put the petition back. We will, you're asking for 200 signatures. I'm not going to argue with you on that. You'll get your 200 signatures. You'll get way more than 200 signatures. But when we have way more than 200 signatures, I'm asking that you not disregard those 300, 400 signatures that come in, because this community wants more minority teachers. And we see a legal pathway to get there. A legal pathway to get there.
And I interject if I may. I don't think anyone in this district or on this board disagrees with you about diversifying our teaching staff or our staff as a whole. That's never been the issue. So, I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to speak with our Superintendent Wanda Ortiz-Rivera, but I can assure you that plans have been put in place. I know one of which you were so adamant about, that LILTA and NAACP was not receiving notices about.
Right, notifications, sure.
And we worked on that.
Absolutely.
And we changed that. We've implemented a program within the district, Take a Look at Teaching, to have our homegrown, which we have a diverse
Yep, absolutely.
district. So that's another way of promoting, our students, bringing them into the education realm, exposing them, and giving them an incentive, so to speak, to come back to us. So there are plans in place. To be truthful, I don't feel like it's something you need to litigate to force us to do when it's something we're already doing. It just requires simply a conversation and an ask. It's your choice.
Well,
Like to
respectfully,
litigate
I've been doing this for 20 years, so I've been asking for a very long time, various
Well,
different boards. And
with all due respect, Mr. Morse, you do know that there is a shortage nationwide, and it's not exempt from Brentwood. And it's not that we don't want to. By all means, we are trying every which way to bring in diverse staff.
like I said,
Partner with us. Don't litigate us.
absolutely, and I gave you free advice tonight without
Don't
charging you a
litigate
penny.
us, Partner with us.
Right.
That's the takeaway.
This is not about just litigation. This is about the law and what exempts this school district from being able to be sued for what's called reverse racism. That's what that law is specifically about. And I have been a proponent of increasing the number of minority teachers since the day that I got here as a teacher in the year 2000. And I can tell you that there are roadblocks to being aggressive about addressing some of what has transpired in this district. And so that law is in place to protect the district from any kind of accusation of reverse racism, for making corrective actions, making aggressive actions to increase the number of minority teachers. And after 24 years on the force of trying to get more minority teachers, I can tell you that it is a necessity. So
And we don't disagree.
if I may continue, so if that is a way to, get the district to be absolved from any kind of future litigation, I strongly would say then you as a board can vote for the very same thing that we put on the petition, and then we don't need to do a vote. But if you.
We can reverse that and say the same. We don't need litigation to put a plan in place that is.
This is not litigation. This is the community saying this is what we want and being able to have a voice and saying at this point in time and at this juncture, after we've made the asks and we've ran people for the board and we've done all of that, we've changed board policy.
That's a matter of perspective.
We in this community, many of us who have done those things are at a point where this is what we think should be done. And we can respectfully disagree on that.
Absolutely.
And so we will bring it back, and we will ask you to entertain a larger number of signatures for that purpose, because the community voice should be heard on that issue so that we get a real in writing that we can all foil for plan for increasing the number of minority teachers, not just desires, but actual in writing plan that we can see. And that's what we're looking for, the people who are with me and who follow me.
Wanda.
And Mr. Moss, we are going to give you that plan. We're working on that plan already. Dr. Leon is right here right now, and we're working with the entire cabinet on a strategic plan, as you know, and that is definitely part of our plan. We are hiring a DEI coordinator. We never had that before. And one of the questions during the interview, right, is what are we going to do and how would you handle the hiring of diverse candidates also? And that, it is powerful, right, to have that kind of question in this kind of interviews, right? So the candidate that the board will approve will have that expertise. And you will see, you will be very happy with what we're going to do here to ensure that we have a diverse, diverse staff here. And we already do, but we need more. Okay?
Yes, and I will say again, please consider more, way more than just hiring in the increasing the number of minority teachers. I will tell you, there are plenty of tears that I have had to weather as an educational leader, community organizer, and NAACP president in this district over people being terminated for reasons that someone shouldn't be terminated for. So there are a lot of, I'm not just talking about hiring at all. Please don't see that at all in what I'm saying. There are many different ways to increase the numbers of minority teachers. Not firing them ad hoc is one of them. Asking people to stay on is another. And if you want more, you're gonna have to pay me. But what I'm saying is, it's way more than what your attorney is saying to you, okay? And when we bring it again, I'm asking that you seriously consider that the community wants to vote on it and be able to put a legal pathway into place that protects everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moss. Okay, so we'll delve into our informal budget workshop. Wanda?
Okay, is it on? Yes, right. Very good. So we have Mr. Gangler is going to present to us the secondary education budget presentation. Very nice. Hard copy here.
Good evening, everyone, members of the board. We're getting ready to get started with our presentation. I'd like to go ahead and at least acknowledge Ms. Trish Brockbank, our coordinator for curriculum, social studies, ELA. She'll be assisting me this evening. As we get ready to set this all up, I'd like to go ahead and say thank you to the Board of Education, as well as the superintendent for the invitation tonight. I'd also like to go ahead and recognize and thank our fellow cabinet members, our colleagues, our staff, and the community members who are here, both present in the room and at home. So welcome. I'm Matt Gangler, Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Education, and I'd like to go ahead and begin our story here tonight. Tonight, we'd like to go ahead and discuss Brentwood's journey, take an opportunity to explore the portrait of a graduate to graduation plus, discuss a little bit our projected staffing needs, and conclude with some acknowledgements of some of the great news and some of the great things that are happening here in Brentwood. Brentwood's journey is in motion. We are in the midst of building a multi-year plan of not only preparing all of our students for graduation, but for life beyond the high school diploma. It gives me great pleasure to share with everyone this year's all-time high graduation rate of 84%. And when I say congratulations, this is not only to the fine students that we're so proud of for the class of 2023, but I believe this is a community accomplishment. It is something to be most proud of. When we take a look at the last 12 years of our 4-year graduation rate analysis, we can see that this number is significant. And what is most important about this slide, this information, is that it does not mean the conclusion. I submit to you that this is only the beginning. So we're going to take a look a little bit at some of the things that we've done to help us achieve this, because it's part of the plan, and we want to keep these items with us as we learn to grow. Our graduation success has occurred through a closer look of our coding, of our dropouts, and examining our students' enrollment, and understanding that the students that are here and enrolled in our classes are participating, of course, and enrolled in those classes. And we are looking at our attendance intervention systems. Please know that we're continuing to adjust and to monitor our intervention systems. What we know is when we begin to ask the question about how can we serve our at-risk students, we drill down to the real reasons and some of the real causes of why some of our students struggle, whether it's academically or sometimes just making it to school. This board has been most gracious. We've been able to add more full-time social workers, psychologists, counselors throughout the district, both at our middle school and high school. And this support helps us to improve not only our communication between the grade levels, but it supports the communication between families and schools. We've also been able to expand a suite of electives across the disciplines, including such things as virtual enterprise, cloud computing, Spanish cinema, and even more to come. We're also very proud, offering Seal of Biliteracy. In addition to all these already established practices, we still have in place our Regents Prep, our college and career work, our evening high school, our summer school, and our informational parent nights, whether it's for FAFSA or college and career fairs for our parents and for our students. All of this is complemented with 23 varsity sports, 63 clubs, an award-winning green machine, and a host of so many other programs and activities and field trips that supports our kids. So when we begin to look at what New York State expects, we also expect the same when we look at what's the portrait of a graduate. We want our kids to be global citizens. We want them to be effective communicators. We want them to have the competency in the social, emotional, and cultural domains. We want them to be literate across the content areas. We want them to be critical thinkers, and most of all, innovative problem solvers. Now, while we may expect this from all of our students in New York State, what I would like to submit to you is something a little bit different, because I want to show you how we can achieve this in a slightly different way. One of the first elements that we need to acknowledge is that none of this happens without our students in the classrooms and in their seats. Attendance is key. Some of the things that we had started prior to the pandemic, and we have now since reinstituted, have making sure that our middle schools have returned to using the technology for the automated calls so that we can make sure that we're alerting parents and families of student attendance. I'm very proud to say, too, one of our middle schools piloted a new attendance recognition ceremony where they went and committed to the 4 quarters. So each quarter, they're acknowledging attendance so that we're not waiting an entire year before we recognize those who were excellent. And the beauty about it is that by doing so, we're providing hope. Because if I wasn't maybe as attentive and had good attendance in the first marking period, I've now got a goal for the second. And what they've done is they've recognized that with Most Improved awards. We want to make this the business of all 4 middle schools, giving all of our kids the recognition to let them know that it's important and that we want you to come to school. This, again, is also accomplished through our guidance counselors, our social workers, our school psychologists, and the restorative coaches that we've been able to put in place. We've adopted a building team approach to identify issues and supporting students. We also have provided a partnership with PM Pediatrics, where we provide our families, free of charge, access to mental health support, which is necessary when we really want to dive into some of the reasons and some of the concerns that some of our students have. We've also want to continue harnessing our technology. We want to continue to strengthen attendance monitoring. We want to use our Parent Square, our e-school. And for those who may not know, we use Scholarship both at the freshman campus and at the high school, which is a check-in system. And of all this, we've learned something quite valuable. Our ability to build positive relationships with our students and our families is the priority. So, our students' futures begin today. We know that jobs in today's workforce require more than just a high school education. Brentwood Schools is committed to graduating students with diplomas, plus a foundation for college credits, career goals, and/or technical certification. I introduce you to Graduation Plus, which will be a district-wide initiative from pre-K to high school to ensure all students are ready with a multitude of skills for life. We can do this in several ways. We seek to create the capacity within our educational system for every student to be able to select a pathway to graduation and beyond. We also want to foster the belief that students can achieve. We can look at the 4 C's as courses, college, career, and certification. We also want to make sure that we continue to develop the processes and the procedures and the supports to help our students explore these academic interests. We also want to make sure that when we create the courses, we can staff the courses, and we can create the equal opportunity and access for all our students to participate in those courses. In so doing, we ensure continuity among the 4 middle schools. We build relationships from the middle schools to the freshman campus and from the freshman campus to our high school. All of this centers around developing an individualized success plan. And we can do that by making sure that our students are connecting to their personal interests. And that personal interest will help drive the success. So what needs to happen before getting to high school? Well, here's what we know. If we get to 9th grade, it may be a little late to be considering all these pathways. The priority is to go ahead and to encourage at the middle school level of having our students being involved on the Naviance platform, which is purchased already. It exists in the district. It's a tool that helps prepare our kids, identify their interests, explore possible pathways, and helps keep a plan for them towards graduation. In the middle school, we've already begun adding more Regents courses. We're giving kids opportunities to get Regent credits. Something that's really awesome is that our middle schools have over a 95 passing rate in all of these courses. So we're doing some wonderful things and providing the opportunity. We're also looking at the freshman campus and ensuring that our kids stay on track and making sure that they have the same opportunities for advanced and Regents diplomas. And one of the things that's important is that we really want to make sure that they're getting that minimum of 6 credits before moving on. That requires some effort. But what we believe is that when we give our students these interests and we give them the opportunity to pursue the electives, we believe that there is a direct correlation to them feeling belonging, inclusive, successful, and perhaps not come to school because they have to. Come to school because they want to. So this is part of our plan. Some of the things that are also already happening and have been part of the Board of Education's, if you will, dream, is that we continue to remove the financial hardships from our students with district SAT and college credits being made available. In addition, we've enrolled our students for CTE credits and BOCES, and we've even brought in-house our own cosmetology course here at the high school. And this is continuing to expand, and it's quite popular. Matter of fact, we've already got middle schools taking field trips up to the high school to take part in watching this take place. And the cosmetology class has also gone out with fundraisers advocating for themselves and also getting free practice time, which is great. So it's working for them, it's working for us, and we're looking for more opportunities to expand this. Again, this is in a fine, intertwined relationship. We've already talked at one of our other presentations about the importance of a new transition coordinator working hand in hand with our career education teacher and our district guidance team. We also have our college and career center at the high school, where 2 dedicated guidance counselors can help our students develop their career paths and plans. We also provide for our SWDs opportunities where the CDOS requirements can help them to reach graduation. Another element that is incredibly important is to continue to explore our work-based learning options. We have a number of conversations going on currently where we're continuing to work with the Department of Labor. We're continuing to engage local companies that want to work and partner with us here at Brentwood so that we can continue to engage our students in rigorous and relevant academic programs and/or pathways that recognize students' interests in the arts, the career and technical education, our career development and occupational studies, civics, humanities, science, technology, engineering, and of course, mathematics and world languages. Recently, we've had the great privilege of partnering with a former alumni who worked with a local company to bring an on-site OSHA course both to our adults and to our high school students. We recognize the importance of keeping our community safe, and this free opportunity is giving them the opportunity to go into workplaces knowing best practices. This is only the beginning. We also, gotta go forward. There we go. We are also linking our high expectations with high support. Currently, right now, middle school students are involved with high dosage tutoring that's taking place after school. Recently, our Brentwood freshman campus has identified students that need additional support. Like we said, if they're in danger of those credits that we're talking about, we're getting on it early, providing the intervention early so that we can keep them on track. That's happening right now. And we also have our high school runs their missing assignment study hall MASH, and part of that is giving kids an opportunity by going to rooms with a content area teacher that can provide specific help. If it's a math, or if it's social studies or science, those students who are missing some of their assignments can go there and get the support. This is also in conjunction with Project Graduation. We have students that are identified that may be credit deficient, may have their own very unique story, but we're finding a way to provide them with the academic support so they too can walk across the stage for their graduation. And of course, right now, we're proud to say we are full steam ahead with our high school working on our Regents Prep that's taking place after school. Now, as we begin to talk about Graduation Plus and talk about our high expectations, it's also important that Graduation Plus supports achieving academic success and encourages students to dress for success. We are working very closely with our administrative team and our schools to continue to enforce our dress code policy. We've got messages that have gone out to families. We're using parent squares. Building principals are using town hall. We want to make sure that our kids know that we care about them, because the purpose is to make sure that students know that the focus is on learning. This is also being done in coordination with our IT department as we're continuing to explore using technology to assist us with delivering notifications to our students and our parents when concerns arise. So, how do we go from Portrait of a Graduate to Graduation Plus? What I submit to you on the left is the requirement for all of our New York State students in achieving the 22 credits necessary for graduation, plus a pathway that you'll see there in the middle column. Each one of our students can receive a Regents diploma by passing 4 of their Regents exams, plus one of the pathways to meet this requirement. Many of our students already at the high school endeavor to pass 7 Regents classes and receive an advanced Regents diploma. This is a blueprint for all of our students, but it doesn't necessarily depict how Brentwood students achieve it. And this is what brings us to our current situation at the high school today. Currently, our high school boasts almost 320 courses to which students have access. Our freshman campus students have access to over 65 courses. And coming to us soon, we have on the agenda opening up an AP Psychology, current events, and one that I think is our favorite, I'm a former social studies teacher, is our local Long Island history. So these are some of the things that we're looking to bring into the curriculum and create these opportunities for our kids. Here too is an example of the various courses that are now being taken advantage of by our students with our Beacon program and our partnership with SUNY Farmingdale and Suffolk Community College. What's really exciting to see is these numbers, especially since the pandemic, are moving up. which means that our kids are ready and wanting to take rigorous courses at the next level. And it's also a great opportunity for them to prepare themselves for their future pathway. We also are very proud of the number of students that take advantage of our BOCES program. In 2022-2023, we had approximately 123 students take advantage of all the courses that are listed up there on that chart. 2023-2024, that number increased to 211. That is the increasing opportunities. And of course, with that, we're looking to explore alternate ways to bring some of these back in-house as well. So this way, our students can also participate in some of these courses here on premise in the high school. So as we get ready to explore these pathways, our department heads, guidance counselors, administrative team have been working closely to help build career clusters that follow these pathways that you see in this circle. What I wanted to share with you was a way to which we can now bring this information right into the home for our students so they can begin their planning for their future. And we can do this by creating this chart, which might be a little bit hard to see up there. This map aligns what every student from 9th grade to 12th grade would be responsible to take for graduation. What we've done at the Brentwood High School is we've gone through the course handbook of over 365 courses and specifically matched them with the pathway for business management. Those are the courses that a kid can just look quickly across to know, these are the things that are available to me if I want this career cluster. What other things can I do? Well, when you move to the middle of the page, you'll see clubs and activities. Here are the clubs and activities that complement our students' pathway as they move forward in their education. We continue to move to the right. We even have a link for volunteer opportunities. So many of our kids who are seeking for community hours, they're looking for experiences or even maybe opportunities for internship. They are directly connected here and within a click or two can pick any one of these and find that we have community ambassador program for high school students. It gives you the organization, it gives you the contact number, and with a few clicks, you're on your way to building your plan towards volunteer opportunities. We're making it easier and more equitable for more of our students to have direct access to the same opportunities. Additionally, if you go further over to the far right of the column, we even have included our links that help us give us career opportunities. So here our students can explore other career paths. They can go ahead and look for job searches. There's even information here on how to go ahead and build resumes, how to conduct interviews, and even a job finder. This has not necessarily always been easily or readily available to all of our students, and this is what we want to do with Graduation Plus. We want to make this the reality. So we're working on this and looking to include this as part of our high school and our web page, and students will be able to access this anytime, anywhere. I also have two proposals for you tonight. One is to enhance our performing arts with consideration to adding drama to our middle schools. This year, we were so fortunate to have just a wonderful, wonderful presentation of our musical in the spring. What we realized, just as we're talking about building capacity for our middle schools to achieve in high school, we also know in our sports programs, we need sports in middle schools to provide feeders to the JV and varsity programs so that they can be successful and sustainable. I submit to you a proposal that we encourage this as well with drama by incorporating coaches at the middle school level that would meet after school and help our kids get introduced to drama. If this is strategically done, these coaches could also pivot and assist the high school. with their productions. So this has two major pieces to it. It provides a great connection from middle school to high school. It also gives our coaches opportunities to support the kids at the middle school and also then support at the high school. So we're building that connection directly to the high school. Our second one is to introduce instruments at 6th grade. We're very excited about this, and we know that we've got a long-standing tradition of great success with our Green Machine, and we know that we're up against so many other communities that start their music programs much earlier. And so I submit to you an opportunity for us to carefully consider phasing in musics and instruments for 6th grade. The way we would propose it is that we offer it in the very first year after school by maybe offering 6-period contracts, getting our students accustomed and acclimated to those instruments after school. Many of our 6th graders don't have sports because you start sports in 7th grade. It would be a great transition in the first year for us to go ahead and spend time determining proper space, maximizing resources, and getting our kids excited about music. The plan would be in year 2 that we would bring it back into the master program, in which case it could run alongside our digital literacy. It would be embedded in the class, into their program. And then as we move into year 3, we would then go ahead and include rotational lessons so that our students would be getting the small group instruction, supporting them along the way, and giving them the opportunity to really enhance their skills and grow with the program. So where are we now? Where are we going? Well, let's take a look at what's already been done. We've already increased our high school credits. We've reinstituted the advisory program at the middle school and freshman campus. We've implemented restorative coaches that now exist at each of the schools. We've offered introductory business course for grade 8. So that was last year. We've done it for this year, will be the first year that we complete it. We started digital literacy last year, and it wasn't all necessarily a full year. We did it as a half year, so we're looking to expand that. We've also had many of our AIS students that need remediation still be able to enjoy the electives that we're offering all of our kids. So that 9-period day has really supported where we are now. And again, we keep continuing to talk about the fact that we've got increased numbers of our students taking advantage of the earth science, living environment, and Algebra 1. And I must say, with the Algebra 1, what we've done is we've connected a lab to that class. And so every other day, those students who take Algebra and Regents get an additional period every other day to support them. We know that this works. And we've also begun world language and launched it in grade 7. Where are we going? Well, we proposed the drama at the middle schools. I also submit the proposal for 6th grade instruments. We've also proposed that we make digital literacy full year, in which case our kids can explore coding, podcasting, and multimedia skills, which are some of the digital skills that they'll need to be successful. We also have started our student request programming a little bit earlier, and we want to encourage that we continue to do this so that we can adequately prepare our kids for all these wonderful programs that are there for them. I would also like to suggest that we add science and social studies staffing modestly to accommodate some of our class sizes. We do have a requirement in our middle schools for our kids to complete science investigations. And certainly when those classes are upwards of 28, 29, and 30, and those investigations, those boxes, those kits have thousands of pieces, it's certainly a challenge. And so what I would submit here is, with a very modest increase, we may be able to share those resources to lower those class enrollment sizes and give the hands-on time that our kids need to really dive deep into those investigations and into the content. And then, of course, I'd like to go ahead and to continue the work with our restorative coaches, and above all else, continue to build continuity so that the coaches that are each at the 4 middle schools, the freshman campus, and the high school are directly communicating and working together so that we are kind of sending the same message and providing the same type of support everywhere. I share with you here quickly a snapshot of our enrollment by ethnicity. And of course, we know in terms of our enrollments, you guys get the reports and see that. But we are 10,000 plus strong, grades 6 through 12. We have a lot of students, this we know. We also have a vibrant evening high school. When we look at this, I just want to bring your attention most specifically to the lower right-hand box. In 2021, we had 245 students that might not otherwise be graduates. In 2022, we had 202 who might not otherwise receive their diplomas. And this year, we had 236 of our students take advantage of evening high school to become Brentwood graduates. This is working, and this helps some of our students that might have circumstances beyond their control that still gives them the opportunity for credit recovery and to be proud Brentwood graduates. So what are we asking for? Well, we believe that at the high school, we can request 9.4 teachers to support our family and consumer sciences, which is bursting with electives and culinary. We also look for 1.4 in LOTE, in particular French, Spanish, and Italian. We also, with our social studies, we are very excited to create those opportunities. As I said before, one of my favorites, the local Long Island history, as well as technology, earth science. Also, one restorative coach added to the high school to help connect the body of work that's up there. And I also submit to the freshman campus that we consider a guidance counselor, a business teacher, support in physical education, social studies for a total of 3.4. And then in our middle schools, a total of 10 teachers that helps us address the needs in technology, social studies and sciences, as I previously described, as well as the support of digital literacy teachers. We already have 2 in 2 of the middle schools. These 2 would be supporting the other 2 middle schools, so we'd have an equal number within the district. Brentwood, we are committed. Brentwood is not just committed to the diploma, we are committed to offering more so that our graduates can do more. We are striving to increase the number of our students who graduate with Regents and Advanced Regents diplomas. We are increasing the number of our advanced placement courses, our college level exams, and as well as additional college credits. And we are dedicated to providing not just the college credits, but the career, technical, and educational credits that our students need, and the experiences with certification that lead to active and gainful employment. This happens with the development of a strategic plan. This can happen with Graduation Plus. So with this, as you know, there are hundreds of daily activities that take place throughout the district. We have a very active Facebook page. We have our newsletters. We have messages that go out throughout the community. We're so extremely proud of our accomplishments. Recently this week, you may have heard that our boys state championship team was recognized as number 3 in the nation for coaches poll, which is a very prestigious place to be. We had an incredible musical, On Your Feet, that again, the comments of the folks coming out that night was as if they had just really seen a Broadway play. We have our green machine that each year continues to bring so much joy and so much pride. It's also very, very exciting in the hours that go into that. We had Long Island STEM finalists competing at the highest level academically. And just recently, last week, we had a team from West Middle as our mock trial team beat Jericho in a mock trial. And that was very exciting. Yeah. It's also very important that we're very, very, very fortunate. We've extended the MBK program to all 4 middle schools. We have a vibrant Girls Inc. program, and we certainly have so many kids involved in our youth in government. But I'm also very, very proud to say to you that tonight, all of our middle schools are in good standing. And we're very proud of the efforts of all of our middle schools, our teams. And this can't happen without an awful lot of support. Certainly, the board recognizes your influential role in creating these opportunities and sustaining them. But I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to also thank all of the leaders that are in our buildings at the high school, the freshman campus, or middle schools. I'd also like to especially thank our directors, our coordinators, our assistant coordinators, who day in and day out come together as a powerful team to support our kids. And it's important that we know that we're not just keeping our kids safe. We're ensuring that all our students graduate with a plan for life. And so I thank our leaders, our teachers, our staff, our school families, and certainly our Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt, for that dynamic presentation. And all I can think inside my head while you were speaking was like, yay, Brentwood! Like, yay, like we're doing it. Like, wow. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. I mean,
To be fair, there is still so much going on.
yeah.
This is
Just
a
the beginning,
slice.
Right, and it just goes back to the belief of what is possible through collaboration and partnership. When we all share the same mission, and I know many people have heard me say, we all share the same destination, have different ways of getting there. But if we keep the focus on the destination, it just makes things come together. And, you know, it's marvelous what's happening for our students. It's a testament to our superintendent, our Board of Education, our district leaders, inclusive of assistant coordinators, principals, assistant principals, guidance counselors. I don't want anyone to be offended if I left you out. It's, you know, you are part of the plan. You are part of what is driving Brentwood forward. And we thank you. Anything from the board?
Mr. Congress, thank you. He only had 30 minutes to work on this. Oh, my God. Right? And we practiced. Yes, but thank you. Your presentation was very comprehensive, and also I know that you inspire us. Eileen was crying, and I was crying here. And we don't really cry. We don't really cry much. But everything that you said has a focus, and we didn't lose that focus, right? It's our students. And you could see it in every slide, and every word that you mentioned, we are thinking about our kids. That's the difference right now. Our vision is clear. And something that took us some time, but we know where we're going. We know what we want for our children, right? For our kids. They're so special. And I am so grateful that we are able to afford to provide these opportunities for our students, and that we all have a collective vision and we want their success. And we want to prepare them not just for graduation, for beyond graduation. They need to know their why. Why am I doing this? Why am I here? Because we want them here in school. And you have been able to actually showcase right now that that's exactly what we want to do. And I want to thank you for that and all the work. I know you started the position late, right? It was in December, but I knew it. I knew that you have this passion for our kids. And with the cabinet, this has been, and with everyone, and the board support, of course, it has been an excellent journey from there to now. And I do have to thank you, and I do have to tell a story. Yesterday, we went to the high school. We went to see the students that scored 1,300, right? And we couldn't stay there long, and I said, no, we have to leave, and because we have to work on the budget. Miss, go work on the budget, because they knew that we were able to pay for the SAT, for the college credits, for the AP courses.
Yeah.
So go, Miss.
But you see, it goes back to
Yes.
when you put the students first in everything you do, you don't make a bad decision. So they knew that
They
you were
knew it.
putting them first,
Yes.
so they said, it's okay, go.
Go. Yes.
Go,
yes,
we
yes,
want you to
yes,
go.
Yes, yes, yes.
If I may, there's something that's so important, I think, to all of us when we have our kids who are sharing with us their dreams, and they're acknowledging that they have offers from Princeton, from Harvard, from Yale, from Stony Brook. Our kids are capable and are deserving to go to the top universities and institutions in this country, fully prepared and ready to take on the world. And that means, I think, the world to each and every one of us, that we've helped complete a dream.
I want to say something. Can we all say together graduation plus? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Graduation plus. That's it. Yes.
I know Julianne and Brandon would like to add some things.
I just wanted, really, I think Wanda, made an excellent point, and it's the same point that I want. The whole presentation was impressive, Mr. Gangler, like from beginning to end, but I'm most impressed by the career paths and the path that you have laid out for our students so that they can find their why, so they can find their way to that, career path that they're possibly entertaining. And I think that's been missing for a long time. One of the most common commentaries that we hear is that our kids don't know what to do after graduation and they're kind of floundering. And I think this helps to kind of set them on a path that they don't have to flounder. They can start that path right now, and I'm just so impressed by that. And it's sort of like a bird's eye view, and I just love it for all of our kids. Thank you.
Well, certainly this is the collaboration of a whole lot of people, and we thank them as well.
Absolutely.
But yes, agreed. And I think, again, the focus is really not waiting until their junior year to decide what they want to do.
Yes, absolutely.
We want to really encourage that they begin to explore all of this at the younger levels. And
I think at the 6th grade, I knew I wanted to be the board president in Brentwood. Just kidding.
So one last comment, and I think also including our students in the conversation, right?
Yes.
Like Wanda, and that goes to you, if you hadn't shared, I gotta go work on the budget, well, they get a,
Yes.
a feeling of what that's like. And I think we should do more of that moving forward. Just make sure that students are aware of all the pieces that need to be put together in order for them to be where they are. Thank you.
Julie,
to both.
Mr. Avenes is there. I just want to say thank you because he did this with his staff, the department heads, putting all the, it took months,
Thank you.
right, to put all this
Thank
together.
you.
And it was amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Brandon?
Yeah, really quick. So, after a long day of work, this is some great stuff going on to see. And I know we all spend our free time here, but it definitely brings a lot of pride and joy to see the things we got going on. A lot of jealousy, but it's a healthy amount. It hasn't been long since I graduated, I like to think. Not as long as others, maybe, but I'm not going to point anything. I'm messing. I'm playing.
Turn Michael.
But it's like that jealousy. I was one of those kids that I remember Mr. Lochner, principal at the time, and he said he had students stand up for those that wanted to join the military, and I didn't stand up because I didn't know I was, and it took a month after I was set to go to college, and all of a sudden I changed my mind. So call that the last hour. I think I even went negative there. But I can't wait. I'm so excited to post this on Facebook so everybody could see what's going on. Hopefully we get attendance up, get people excited about mathematics, right, Mr. Marsh?
Counting on you.
Yeah. But
No
pretty.
pressure.
Yeah. But pretty exciting. I think the way our trajectory's going, I think we're going to be Long Island's Harvard of high schools. We're going to be that Yale. I think we're going to have enough to offer here that they're going to be set and ready to go, and I love that. So thank you
Thank
to
you.
everybody. Yeah.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Julie, for that input and that insight.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Anything else from the board? No? I think we have something else coming.
Yes. And we have Stacey O'Connor. She's going to present the revenue.
Sing and dance.
There you go. I know I'm excited about the Mountain. So now that we have a destination in mind, it's really been a journey that we've been going through over the past few years and adding these courses. We have to talk a little bit about how we're going to afford that and the revenue that's going to support the budget. So we'll talk about the revenue budget tonight. Some of the things we'll look at is the tax levy limit. That's the formula that we have to follow to see how much we could do within the allowable tax levy. We'll go over that calculation. We'll talk a little bit about foundation aid and the state aid highlights. Unfortunately, the state budget is due April 1st. Here we are on April 4th, and that budget hasn't been set yet. So the only thing I can talk about tonight is the budget that the governor announced back in January. We don't have our final numbers yet. We'll look at debt service a little bit. That's how we pay for the capital construction projects that we're doing throughout the district, and they're vast. And Mr. Cruz, when he was here back in January, he presented a lot about that, a lot of pictures. But it's absolutely at every building, and it's just fabulous how we're able to transform the district. And then we'll look at maybe some future capital projects. So the revenue for our general fund, or the sources of revenue, we have foundation aid, is roughly 67%. These percents are estimates at this point because we don't know our final foundation aid. But maybe it'll change by 1 percentage point. These are, pretty close. We have other state and federal aids that account for about 12% of our budget. Our tax levy is roughly 19% of our budget. And then we have some miscellaneous aids, maybe some fees, some interest, some pilot payments, things like that. And our applied fund balance at about 2%. If we look at our 24-25 tax levy cap worksheet, I'll go through the formula quickly. It's all here. It's going to take 3 slides because it's quite a formula. But our tax levy this year is $111.5 million. It's been the same for the past 4 years. We've kept it the same level because we've gotten so much in state aid. But we'll see how that may have hurt us a little bit. Any excess levy in reserve, we didn't apply any excess levy money, although we had it. So we kept the levy at $111 million. Then you add in the tax-based growth factor, which is less than 0.1%, you could see there. We multiply that. We add in our base year pilots. Pilots are payments in lieu of taxes. So the county, the town, may encourage businesses to come to the area, and to get them to come here, to lure them in. They can offer a break on taxes, but they still make a payment to the school district. And eventually that pilot kind of fades away and they start paying their taxes, but it's to help them get started in the area, because all in all it helps the entire area when we bring in new businesses. So we add in those base level pilots, and then we look at our capital expense net of aid. So how much we're paying in capital costs, less what aid we get. That's how much all of our capital projects are actually costing us this year. And keep in mind that also includes BOCES, our share of any BOCES projects, because we have to pay for that as well. So that brings us to $119 million. Then you look at the allowable levy growth factor. That is either CPI or 2%. CPI was well over 2%. This year it was over 4%, but we're capped at whichever is lower. So we're capped at the 2%, so we can increase the $190 million by 2%, $121 million. We subtract out pilots, come to $113 million. Then we look at any carryover that we can add. We didn't exceed our tax levy cap the previous or the current year, 23-24, so we can add some money back. Not all of the money that we didn't tax, but there's a certain formula that you follow to get that 1.7 million, and that brings us to 115 million. And believe it or not, we're not done yet. So we look at any capital expenditures net of aid that's projected in 24-25, any pension expenditures that are an exclusion. TRS this year has a 0.1% exclusion, so that's our 44,000. Any court orders and judgments, which we don't have. So our total exclusions are 117,000. So the total levy that we can go out with and still be under cap and not need the super majority vote is 115,850,000. That's 3.84% on the increase from the current year. That's not the number that we're projecting to come out with right now. We're projecting roughly 2.5% increase on the levy. So if we look at what we've did over the past 5 years, the top line, the blue line, shows what our allowable tax levy was. For instance, what I just presented, the 3.84%, but we're estimating to come out at a 2.5% increase. So that gap, or that 1.3 percentage, is what we've actually saved, or what we're projecting next year to save the community. But we've done that since 1920, the 1920 school year, and you can see that in this chart. In 1920, we could have come out as high as 4%, but we came out at about 1% increase on the levy. So every year, we've saved the community money by not taxing them. But it did lower our revenue as well. And you can see it a little bit better in this chart, in the bar chart. The red is what our actual levy was. That bar next to it, the bigger bar, is what we could have levied. So each year we've saved, in some years, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24, in excess of $4 million per year, and that carries over. So 21, 22, let's say it's 4 million, 22, 23, it's 4 million from the previous year that we didn't increase, and another 4 million. So that's really 8 million just in those 2 years, if you add the compounding factor to it. So I'm conservatively saying that it's over 20 million in these 5 years in what we could have levied versus what we didn't. Here's our moving into state aid. Like I said earlier, the budget was due April 1st. Here we are, April 4th, still wondering what we're going to get from the state. So the overall increase to education, you could see there, is 2.4%. Foundation aid is the biggest part of state aid, certainly for our school district. But this is just showing the state number. I'll get more specific into our district on the next slide. So overall foundation is showing from the January budget a $507 million increase. Remember the past few years, the governor said she was going to phase in the full foundation formula. That $507 million is actually lower than the full phase-in of the formula for this reason coming up, and that's the inflation factor. The formula shows that you should add in the inflation factor from the previous year. So that came out to 3.8%. What the governor is proposing in her budget is to use a 10-year average inflation factor, taking out the lowest and the highest within that 10-year range. So she calculated 2.4% inflation rather than using the 3.8%, which is what they should, use based on the formula. So that is something they're negotiating at the state. It might even be something that's holding up the adoption of the budget. But I think that will change, and it might go up a little bit what our numbers are. The other thing that the state did that didn't impact us is removing what's called hold harmless. Hold harmless means that whatever a school district got in aid in the previous year, they're going to get again in the following year. They won't lose any aid. They may not gain any, but they're not going to lose any. And if we think back to all the years where the state wasn't fully funding the foundation aid formula, they were putting in rules that had nothing to do with the formula. Maybe they wanted to increase aid in rural districts, or they targeted different districts to get increased aid outside of the formula. So those districts were above what they should have received in the formula. We weren't. We were well below, and we benefited when they truly went with the state aid formula, the foundation aid formula. So removing that hold harmless, all those years where other districts were getting excess aid, now they're saying we're not going to pay that anymore. We're strictly going by the formula other than the inflation factor. So anything you had above it, we're taking away. So that's why about half the school districts in the state are seeing reduced state aid for next year. Even though there's an inflation factor there, their aid is actually getting reduced. Again, that's just something that is being negotiated. It's in the state budget. It does not impact Brentwood, that hold harmless provision. Something else we've heard over the years, but not this year, is that the services aid, the BOCES aid, the transportation aid, the library materials aids, they wanted to cap that and not change it, in future years. What you get, and that's it. Doesn't matter if your expenditures go up, how much you spend, what your enrollment is, that is not going to change. That was not in this year's budget, so those aids will continue to flow as they have in the past. So what does it mean to Brentwood, the numbers that we received in January from the governor's budget? You can see the increases over the years, the 2 years. Foundation aid, right now, we're projected to go up 16 million or 4.16%. Seems like a big number, it is. But when we think about how big we are as a district and all the things we have within the district, Matt just presented several things at the secondary level. We are equally as flush at the elementary level. Our kids just have a tremendous amount of opportunities, our special ed population as well. So it sounds like it'll go a long way. It will, but really it won't cover our rollover budget, just, to maintain what we have. Our universal pre-K stayed flat for a number, actually it went up last year, otherwise it's been flat for maybe 10 years prior to that. Our BOCES aid is increasing, that's based directly on our expenditures with BOCES. We look at certain expenditures that we're paying for anyway, specifically, in this case, software expenditures. And we push it into BOCES, so we're paying for it anyway, so why not put it through BOCES and get aid on that? Our high-cost aid and private excess cost aid, those are some filings we do based on costs for specific special education services. Hardware, technology, library materials aid. Again, the formula didn't change, it's just number of students and how that's been applied. Transportation aid is contractual increases. High tax aid has stayed the same for, 15 years. It's been that number for a very long time. Building aid, we see a big decrease there of $2 million or 20%. If that was some other aid category, I'd be concerned, but I'm not concerned with building aid because that's directly tied to how much we're paying out. And I'll show you on this slide that this is our debt service. So between the 23-24 and 24-25 year, our debt service, what we're actually paying out for the construction that we did, is also going down $2 million. So we're losing the aid, but we also lost the payment. So it's really a net effect of 0 to our budget. And in the perfect world, you always try to time it that way. So when you're done paying for the construction, the aid is done as well. You certainly don't want the payment to go on without the aid. And we were able to work that out this time. And we almost all the time we do. If anything, I'll lean the other way, pay it off first and get the aid the next year. Some of the capital projects we want to add to this budget, and we've done transfer to capital funds in the past 3 years. That's how we're paying for our fields. We did a lot of science rooms at the middle schools. We're going to do more this year. We're going to see some cafeteria improvements this summer. Ceilings at the high school, boilers, you don't see that, but very important. Locker rooms are coming up this summer, that's in Ross. So we want to continue with that, and we have to replace the fire alarm at the high school. It's getting harder to get spare parts for that system. It's a little older, so we're looking to do that in a transfer to capital. Also with our soccer field, in our initial proposal, we allowed for the future thought of lights for the field. We built like the stanchions, not the stanchions for it, but the mounts for it. But we didn't actually include the lighting. We didn't know if that's how we wanted to go. Now we're looking to add that lighting, so there will be an additional cost for that. And whatever is left over from the 10 million after that would go towards bathrooms throughout the district. Unfortunately, that won't cover all of the bathrooms. There are so many that we have to do. And we've started doing some this year, but we'll continue with that. So that's how we would allocate the $10 million. This is just a summary of our district enrollment, where we've been the past 20 years. You could see, it goes up a little, goes down a little. Here is like your traditional enrollment increases. They start at the lower level, and as kids, you get a big kindergarten class, and it kind of bubbles throughout the district. Throughout the years, those kids are in the district, reaches its height. Now what we're seeing, though, is enrollment increases at the secondary level, so it's not showing the traditional bubble that you would normally see when you're talking about enrollment increases, but just an interesting chart about our enrollment. So where do we go from here? April 16th, the board will adopt the budget. Again, we're projecting a 2.5% levy increase. Late April, we mail the budget newsletter. We try to get that in the houses in very early May. May 9th, we'll talk about the budget hearing, exactly what's in the budget. Hopefully, we have our state aid number by then. Otherwise, I will use this January figure that we have. Most years, we have it by then. I have our state aid number by the budget hearing. There have been some, though, a couple throughout my career here, where we haven't. And that's a little unsettling, but, you know, they don't change our budget date, the budget vote date, when they don't tell us the revenues, so we have to go with that. And then May 21st is a Tuesday, always the third Tuesday in May, is the actual budget vote. Any questions on that?
Questions from the board?
Yeah, wasn't that exciting?
I always follow the dynamic, I tell you that every time.
I usually give Ms. O'Connor a hard time, but I'm trying to give mathematics a fun try. As your recent events, I'm trying to like math more.
Given our new hire, we're not trying to embarrass ourselves.
And to correct the record, me and Ms. Safiri, we did go to school together, so she didn't, graduate at the same time frame. Just for the record.
We can say, please, sir, can I have some more?
Any questions from the audience? Anyone at home? No?
I just want to say thank you, Stacy, because the beauty of this is that we're talking about numbers and they look huge, right? You get scared when you see that. But when you equate this to what our students are doing, it is not really hard, right? And that's what I want everyone to see. So thank you for putting this together and a story behind it. And I know that you're going to present again. Just going to present again, I think, in 2 weeks, right?
Can't wait, right, Brenda?
And when we put our students first, then this is so, okay, it's fine. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And if there are no other comments, questions, suggestions from the audience? Okay. I need a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting at 8:30 p.m. Motion by Julia Burgos. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Maria Malave. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Good night, everyone, and thank you for joining us.